Hello and welcome to Architecture Simplified. I am Apana and today we are going to discuss about different scenarios where you will be using App Engine Standard or App Engine Flexible Environment. So we will be starting with understanding what is serverless, what is App Engine, and there are two different flavors of App Engine Standard Environment and App Engine Flexible Environment. We will be understanding both of these and then we will be understanding when to choose App Engine Standard or App Engine Flexible Environment based on different scenarios. Alright, so let's get started. First, understand what is serverless. Serverless is the native architecture of the cloud that enables you to build and run applications and services without thinking about servers. It eliminates infrastructure management tasks such as server or virtual machine provisioning, software patching, operating system maintenance, capacity provisioning, etc. Now understand the benefits of serverless architecture. Since there is no need to provision or maintain any servers, and there is no software or runtime to install, maintain or administrate, so it abstracts away the infrastructure overhead for developers. Your application can be scaled up or down based on the change in demand without having to manage the infrastructure. Since you pay for consistent throughput or execution duration rather than by server unit, so total cost of ownership is also reduced. Also, you no longer need to worry about ensuring application fault tolerance and availability. Instead, GCP handles all of these capabilities for you. Now understand the services which are serverless and GCP provides that to you. So GCP provides a set of fully managed services that you can use to build and run serverless applications. Those can be from compute, storage, different data lakes, or application integration related services, orchestration related services, analytics services, and developer tools related services. Now understand what is App Engine. App Engine is a compute serverless option in GCP. It is used for building and hosting web applications in GCP. You can build highly available applications on a fully managed serverless platform. App Engine has two different flavors: App Engine Standard Environment and App Engine Flexible Environment. Now let's understand what is App Engine Standard Environment. It provides you pre-configured runtime environments. What is runtime? In order to build and run your application, you need runtime environment for the application language in which you are developing your application. An App Engine Standard Environment provides you pre-configured runtime environments. So, it is easy for you to build and deploy an application because it abstracts away the configuring the runtime environment for your application. In App Engine Standard Environment, applications run in a secure, sandboxed environment. Auto-scaling of servers also provided over there by GCP into App Engine Standard Environment. Now let's understand the limitations of App Engine Standard Environment. App Engine Standard Environment provides pre-configured runtime environments, but those are only limited to specific version of the programming languages. The programming languages for which App Engine Standard Environment provides the runtime environment are Python, Java, Node.js, PHP, Ruby, and Go. But for these programming languages also, not all versions are supported by App Engine standard environment. So, if you have a requirement that, for example, your application is in Java, but your App Engine standard environment provides a support only for a specific version and your application is using some other version of Java, in that case, you can't go ahead with the App Engine standard environment. So this is the limitation of it. But what to do in that case? That's where App Engine flexible environment comes into picture. It overcomes the runtime limitation of App Engine standard environment. How it does that? It provides you flexibility to customize runtime environment. So how you can customize the runtime environment? You can use custom Docker image or Docker file. So by this, you can have your customized runtime environment needed for your application. But along with that, App Engine flexible environment also provides you runtime environment for a specific version of these programming languages, which are Python, Java, Node.js, PHP, Ruby, Go, and .NET. So for specific version of these programming languages also, there are some pre-configured runtime environment which App Engine flexible environment provides you, and in case those specific versions of runtime are not sufficient, are not needed for your application, there is some other runtime environment needed. In that case, you can go ahead and customize it. Now we are going to start with the scenarios when you will be using App Engine standard environment and App Engine flexible environment. But before we can proceed with that, if we have reached up to that point, it means you are liking the video. So please hit like over there and also share this video and subscribe to the channel. Alright, so let's get started with the scenarios where you will be using App Engine standard or App Engine flexible environment. So the first scenario is sandbox environment. If your application needs sandbox environment, you can go for App Engine standard. If there is a requirement of a specific version of runtime which is supported by your App Engine standard environment, and this is for simple web application or prototype development, then you should go for App Engine standard. If your runtime is not supported by App Engine standard, then yes, you will be going for App Engine flexible, as we discussed that you can customize the runtime environment needed for your application. This is very important point that you can use App Engine flexible to get the WebSocket support. If your application needs streaming WebSocket support, in that case App Engine flexible is the option, because this option is not supported by App Engine standard environment. So for WebSocket, you should go for App Engine flexible environment. Similarly, if your application has some background processes and you need a support for that, then also you should go for App Engine flexible, because App Engine standard does not support background process as well. Next scenario is that when you have a requirement to scale down to 0, then you should go for App Engine standard environment. Because in App Engine flexible environment, you can't scale down to 0. So if your runtime requirement is met by App Engine standard and your requirement is to scale down to 0, you should go for App Engine standard. If the runtime is supported by both the environments and you need faster deployment, then you should go for App Engine standard, because App Engine flexible takes some time for deployment. Similarly, if your runtime is supported by both the environments but you want faster scaling, in that case again you should go for App Engine standard, because scaling in App Engine flexible environment is not as fast as it is in the App Engine standard. Alright, so this was it in terms of different scenarios when you will be using App Engine standard or App Engine flexible environment. We have covered so many different scenarios. So if you will be understanding all these scenarios in detail, you can definitely handle any question which is related to this scenario in your certification exam and also in your real-time project. If you come across such kind of situation, you can choose the right service over there. So if you have liked the video, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you and see you in the next video.